All righty. I need lights. Let's get this started with my dim light vibes. Where are we going with today? It's Sagg season. I'm feeling good. The biggest difference in the world. Let's go with this one. Let's get the best light. I could turn these lights on, but I work better in the darkness. Okay, so I'm gonna do this in the first part now, and then I have to pause because Brazil's playing and I'm a Brazilian man. I'm not actually, but I fucking love Brazil and I can't miss that shit. But I wanted to start this so I know that I would finish it. Which by the way, I know the timer. Go. Okay. So let's pull your chart up, Morgan. Mm-hmm. And we'll just go with Morgan. Let's go with Mo. No, Morgan's pretty typical name. All right. So I'm gonna go share screen if you know I'm saying, and flip back and forth. I usually just stick in share screen, but these days I'm feeling a little bit more less camera shy. Less camera shy. Okay. So this is your birth chart. So okay, let's get started. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. So you have a sun square moon. Ooh, damn. Have I seen this before? So Sun in Aries, right? Square, which is an aspect that is speaking about a tension, a disagreement, right? Um, the two energies, the two most pivotal, primal, important parts of your chart, the yin and yang of the you, the sun and moon of the universe. I just thought I never did that wordplay until now. The universe. I know it's not that cool. It kind of makes sense, but yeah, I mean, you are a universe. You are a solar system, and I guess it'd be better like solar system. But yeah, so there is tension, right? So right off the bat, my psychology lenses come out, and I say, okay, I have this too, by the way, so it's not like a huge deal, but when the sun is squaring moon, down for a sec. When the sun is squaring moon, you typically there's a divorce of the parents, not all the time, but if there isn't a divorce, there's a tendency for there to be some type of disagreement, right? Some type of real imbalance when it comes to the worldview that each parent has. Um, and often a square or an opposition of the sun and moon is related to a divorce of the parents or something. Yeah, basically just like like if you had to write down the main message that you received from both parents. God, I feel so rejuvenated right now. I took the break I needed, even though I still was working like crazy. But the Sag season just so fucking easy to talk. Oh my god. But yeah, basically like if you had to like write down, if I gave you an assignment right now, I was like, stop this reading and write down the main message. I did this in my book, by the way. Very, very healing, or it was very interesting to actually do this of what the main message, right? Like the main, like, because it's hard, like when you, like, unless you really, really go deep into it, like to know, it's like, it's such a part of you. It's so natural. It's hard to know, like, what, did my father embed in me? What did my mother embed in me? Like, in my case, like my father gave me like tons of freedom, he allowed me to kind of, he didn't push me in any direction. He allowed me to just be who I was, um and I think that was really, really good for me. And that, I was always very rebellious, and that I think my dad wouldn't have been so like laid back but also strict. it would have had, bad. It would have been bad for me overall. So yeah, but with one of them, right? So with the sun in Aries, you know about your sun sign. So I don't really like feel the need to go into sun sign astrology to that extent. But the question is, what is the relationship with Aries and Capricorn? Now, before I say that, you do also notice on your charts that the Capricorn moon has some nice conjunctions, doesn't it? It is conjunct Neptune 2 and Uranus 5 and North Node 6. So basically, that's very interesting. Very, very. It's in the 11th house in your Pisces rising. So Capricorn moon is difficult in the sense that, and you are what age? Okay, so you've just gone through your Saturn return, so it's perfect. A lot of people with Capricorn moons, it's really like around the time their Saturn return or after that, they really, really start to thrive and they really start to kind of like get into like because it's a very karmic placement, right? And it means that you've come to work on a lot of stuck, karmically stuck, emotional patterns that you want to I call it like the decrystallization of stuck emotional patterns. And so you're here to really work on that. And the fact is that that claim is supported. It is supported by the fact that your moon is in the same sign and conjunct your north node, right? So, and my brother, by the way, has a very similar. He also has his moon in Capricorn, conjunct Neptune and Uranus. So I'm very, and I've known lots of clients and people and friends and all that. So I'm very, very well versed with this placement. Now, basically, with Capricorn moons, though, there's a lot of like, I say it's like, one of the more, if not, I'd call it like with Scorpio moon, the most difficult moon placement, the two most difficult moon placements, right? Because Capricorn moons, they portray, especially as an Aries sun, right? Aries suns are the tough ones, right? And so is Capricorn moon. So and also there can be lots of stubbornness and difficulty letting go, right? Difficulty with vulnerability is very big with Capricorn moons. Now, I want to preface this, like, because you might be like, well, that's not me. Well, guess what? You're Pisces rising, and which makes Neptune your ruling planet, and Neptune is conjunct your moon. So, what I've noticed with people who have this is that I literally just like noticed this yesterday, so it's really good timing. Is that the Capricorn moon people who were born in the generation where they had Uranus and / Neptune and or on their moon. I'm plugging in my power. Esme, stop biting my power cord. Esme. Speaking of Pisces rising, they tend to be a little bit they're way different than normal Capricorn moons. But the thing that I learned is that it's almost like there's this potential for a spiritual initiation, right? Like they have like these deep intuitive psychic powers, right? So it makes you almost like there's like yes, you're a Capricorn moon, but you have a potential to be like a Capricorn / Pisces moon, right? Which adds a ton of intuition, a ton of imagination, a ton of compassion, and that's kind of. But the thing is that, and the thing that I learned is that a lot of people with it it takes them a lot of time to activate it. Now you get glimpses of it, and a lot of times it's during the Saturn return that comes, right? And one of the difficult things and why there's a lot of like depression linked with people with Capricorn moon, like especially early in life, and that Capricorn moon people it usually takes them until their Saturn return to really open up, right? In the full sense, right? Spiritually and emotionally, is because they tend to have this like this figure of like everything's all good, like there's never an issue, everything's all good. even if they're going through like the worst shit internally, and they can get really, really stuck easily. And also, in every single Capricorn moon I've ever talked to, um, besides like two I can think of that I'm friends with, have agreed, or no, even them, they just have to get past it. It's so hot. Capricorn moons are so self-critical and hard on themselves, right? Um, and they can really hold themselves to like insanely high standards that are it's a little bit like Virgo, right? Like where it's like the whole perfectionism thing. But the difference is that the Cap moon can be more it can be more like like innerly destructive and and shut down easier, right? While the Virgo moon also could be really difficult, but Virgo might be more prone to be, because it's a mutable sign, to work on itself and to accept suggestions and stuff like that. The Capricorn moon, it can take a lot to get them to actually fully like buy into something. Now, another thing about Capricorn moon is that there's this big need, like, a massive need to be like, to feel like what you're doing, like your job, your career, your dharma, like you're really giving back, like you're really, or you're doing something that really, really matters. Now, it doesn't have to be like just giving back. It could literally be like, that you really love your career as like an investment banker, or like, and it does give great, great powers, staying power in different careers, right? Because like the highest energy of Capricorn moon is honor. Think of MLK. That's the archetype I like to give for like that, like highest Capricorn energy. People who get shit done. He was a Capricorn sun, but whatever. It's an energy. So now mixing that with Pisces, right? This is why I love this placement and why I think it's so high risk, high reward. Is that, yeah, there's that potential for all that stuckness, but with your rising in Pisces, right, making Neptune your rising ruling planet, which means that Neptune is stronger and more meaningful in your chart, and it's conjunct the moon. You're gifted with amazing, amazing intuition. And the thing is, it's like, my question is, have you listened to it? Do you listen to it? How much do you listen to it? Right? Um, do you, and maybe in your past, right? Because you passed your return, you're following me. So I imagine people who come to me are typically at a certain point, but we always have the tendency to kind of fall back into different behaviors, right? So yeah, Capricorn moons, they always need to be working on themselves, and they always need to be understanding that they can get stuck, right? Now here's the interesting part, right? So, and I'm gonna go full circle, you'll see. But like I'm a karmic astrologer, and I'm all about the big picture. So the fact that your South Node, right, which represents who you were in a past life, your tendency, just the archetypal you, right, of generalizing of who you are, what you've done, your typical you. In Cancer, fifth house conjunct Chiron. Now, the conjunction of Chiron is so important, and this is what I'm looking at. I'll show you. This is super, super important, right? Because what that means, Morgan, is that you were a healer in a past life. Um, and also that, and it's a conjunction, so it's not a square, right? And there's the South Node having, it squares the Sun and Mercury. So yeah, so there could be some karmic issues with, usually it's the father. Um, it could even be siblings, Mercury. But whoever like the more, if your parents are divorced, you'll know which parent it is. The one who played like the more dominant role. Usually it's the father, but in divorced parents, like myself, my son is definitely my mom, and my moon's definitely my dad, right? So um basically, there's something from that relationship that's held you back, or just from you know just in general, there's some power that held you back in past lives. I'm not saying it was exactly this specific person. You could say that, but you could also say, just like it could be like an insurmountable force in society, or the Mercury retrograde, like a prevailing you know, what I'm getting here, I'm feeling into it. I'm feeling that you underspoke, right? Because you had this brilliance. Oh my God, I looked at my TV. It's like on mute, like, and it just says brilliant. Yo, what the fuck? Okay, well that's something. So there, that's why I like to have like TV on mute because like just random shit like that happens. I don't even look at the TV. I look for like 1 second. I just see brilliant. Um, but yeah, so I believe that you were a brilliant healer in a past life. You could have even been like someone who healed through your creative purposes or abilities, right? And you see that with your Venus and Taurus, in dignity. Very, very good. Venus is about self-love. It's also about creativity. It's about your love language. It's about, you know, enjoying the finer things in life. It's many things. But in Taurus, you definitely in being a Pisces rising, I think that like creativity and some people, like I was just talking to a client yesterday and she was like, I literally didn't even know I was creative until I was 20, like 24. Like I thought I was just like not creative at all. And she's super creative, right? So it's about unlocking these things, right? So back to my point is that so your south node is ruled by the moon. So this is what's really interesting. So the south node ruler, the moon, is conjunct the north node. I swear. Is there something about this? I mean, I have this book. I mean, I've read it a million times, but I need to see if it has like all these like little mini sections where it's like if you okay, let me just see if there's one that says okay, so it's south node ruler conjunct the moon. Yeah, I guarantee there's gonna be something on that. Oh no, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the moon. Ruler of the south node conjunct the north node. Yeah, that's it, right? Ruler of the south node conjunct the north node. Okay, so I'm gonna read this to you. I don't read much, but with this stuff I like to. And then it says ruler of the north node, which is Neptune. But then you also have the ruler of the north node and the south node conjunct the north node. So is there one on that too? That's crazy. Ruler of the nodes conjunct the nodes. Hold on 1 second. Let me think for a second. When one of the nodes rulers is also conjunct one of the nodes. So yeah, we see the need to relive prior life experiences in the current life. That's all it said. So we see the need to relive prior life experiences in the current life. Okay, well, that's not, I missed that much, but this is the one I really want to get to. Ruler of the north node, no. Ruler of the south node conjunct the north node. Yeah. So with the ruler of the south node, the moon in your case, right? Because the moon rules Cancer, and the moon is conjunct the north node, right? With the ruler of the south node conjunct, no, that's not it. Yeah, conjunct the north node. The necessity to repeat prior karma occurs early in life. South node ruler is what it says. In order to kickstart the evolutionary intentions for the future development. I see. So what it's saying is that, and I just had a session like the other day where I was like, like this, like I always have themes that come up with clients. It's so fucking crazy. Like where it's like a similar, like a really like random theme, like not random, but like very like unique theme. So basically like with this configuration, with the fact that the moon rules your south node, right? And it's conjunct your north node, it means that like no wasting time. Let's get fucking down to business. That was the energy, right? So in order to kickstart the evolutionary intentions for the future development. So this is a signature that expresses a need to relive explicit events or themes. So with the fact that square the sun, that's difficult, right? And your sun's squaring a lot of planets, Uranus, Neptune, Chiron. So whoever the sun parent is, there's some shit there. And you have Venus opposite Pluto. Okay, gotcha. And Mars unaspected Mars. Damn. In Cancer, that's interesting. Anyways, okay, where was I? So Okay, so this is a signature that expresses the need to relive explicit events or themes symbolized by the planet ruling the south node of the moon. So that in reliving them, the individual is propelled into the expression of the north node intentions. So I'm going to reread that. So this is a signature that expresses a need to relive explicit events or themes symbolized by the planet ruling the south node, aka the moon, the emotions, everything I talked about earlier about like you know like undoing crystallize like liquefying crystallized emotional patterns. Um, so yeah, symbolized by the planet ruling the south node of the moon, so that in reliving them, the individual is propelled into the expression of the north node intention. Which the north node intention, north node Capricorn, is about. It's really like about you being your own father in this lifetime, metaphorically, right? Being your own spiritual father, being, you know, someone who holds it down for yourself, right? In that sense. And it is as if a karmic theater replays a certain theme that the individual had already in prior lives begun to learn from, but in being replayed, the need to move forward is clarified once again. So it's so interesting. So it's almost like in the recent incarnations, right? Um, you're basically continuing work, right? And because it's on the axis of Cancer and Capricorn, it can be a lot about gender, about the balance between your feminine and your masculine. Are you favoring one too much? Are you favoring like career and not home life? You know, are you favoring being too to yourself, and not enough like in groups and with people, right? Because Moon 11th house with North Node there, it's really pushing you to actually be very humanitarian and to create, especially as a Pisces rising, to use this compassion in order to really help people. Now, while I'm at it, I might as well look at what they say about the sun, because I like when this so a square to the nodes, right? You see how Mercury is and the sun are both squaring the nodes. That's very important, that because those have to do with karmic skip steps. So basically with the sun, it's so it says the sun as a fifth step indicates the essential part of the current life energy and purpose is to resolve the issues symbolized by the square to the nodal axis through house and sign, and through the node it resolves through. This placement indicates the current life as the critical one for the resolution of the unresolved material. This material is experienced in this life as part of the core nature of the individuality and sense of personal meaning. This placement has echoes of the symbolism of the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell. It's really, really good, Joseph Campbell. And can involve the individual having to create or maintain a personal vision in isolation or in conflict with others around them in their life. As such, it represents a challenge to individuate. So perhaps, with your sun being square Uranus, and square Neptune, right? And also square Moon, there there could have been one parent that was like, or that is or was or whatever, like pushing you more towards your north node, even if it doesn't seem like it. While there's another that pulls or whatever you want to do with time away. And it's difficult because it is the sun, but there's a big need to, yeah, to really to lean into that, because like the sun is it represents the father, and I'm telling you that the north node in 11th house in Capricorn is about you becoming your own father. So in a sense, it revolves around you figuring out, especially conjunct Neptune, activating that Neptune, right? Which comes through giving, through compassion, through the esoteric, the occult, spirituality, your inner journey. And you have all the signatures of a healer, like, or not all, but like many signatures of a healer, right? Because all healers have some kind of like difficulty that they have to go through, and sometimes it's not till the Saturn return that they're like, all right, like this is what I need to do. In ancient times when astrology ruled all, you weren't considered an adult until you're 29 and a half, until your Saturn return. That was when you were actually considered, and that's how it should be, an adult, right? So we're talking like Atlantis, Lemuria, stuff like that. But yeah. So when it talks about through the node, it resolves through. That means it's the last one it transited, which means that um it's moving this way. So the sun would have last gone over the north node. So it's through the future, right? It's through the north node that this is resolved, right? So, right? Yeah, because it's headed towards here. And so when we talk about Aries, Capricorn again, we're like, okay, well, what's the resolution? How do you feed both mouths, right? Um, Well, the Aries part in the second house is going to be, it's a fire energy. It's all about movement, independence, asserting yourself, being assertive, pioneering, being first, just adventuring, right? And the moon in Capricorn is a lot more, it's a lot more conservative, and like I said, it's conjunct Neptune, so you could just be like completely in the Pisces vibe, where you're just like very, very spiritual, and you have found a way to take like this natural compassion that other Capricorn moons wouldn't have, and then use it to the highest strength of the Capricorn moon, which is that ability to just like make shit happen, to manifest, right? In the material world. So to like combine Neptune, which is the imagination, the imaginary realms, and put form to it. Now this gets me to my next point. So because you have Chiron on your south node, and I said you were a healer, an emotional healer, someone that was able to heal people emotionally in past lives. You have that naturally, so it comes naturally to you, right? Um, but it could also talk about like past life pain, right? Past life, coming into this life with some level of pain. I did say it's a conjunction, so it's not like so bad like a square. Like I have square Pluto, fuck that. But my thing is this: is that you could have been like someone who had all of these amazing powers, and you were like a witch or something, and had all this ability to help other people, but you may have like stuck more to yourself, right? Fifth house, Leo, as opposed to the North Node, which is like asking you to take all of these abilities. And also Cancer, it's the home. So it's like maybe you stayed in your own home. Maybe you were like my client yesterday, she was like talking about how she got a past life regression, and and she saw herself like as a witch, but she was like, it's like the witch hunt kind of days, and she was just like hiding in her house and experimenting on herself. Um, Something along that, right? Where it's like, for whatever reason, you have had all these talents, but maybe you were way more involved with the family, right? Maybe like you were just like a super powerful like woman, but you had like 6 kids, and you had to really play that mother role, and not you weren't able to really like go towards the Capricornian route of just being finding yourself in that strong career outer world sense. So in this life, right, it's about being brave when it comes to putting yourself out there, understanding that you're not like everyone else, right? Um, and I imagine that there is some tension with it, with at least one family member, and you probably feel this push and pull between Aries and Capricorn, between like just wanting to go 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 go, and then the Capricorn moon, which can feel a little bit like held back, and you know have difficulties with vulnerability, and self-critical of your actions, because the sun wants to go forward. Now we have Mercury, right? Mercury is in retrograde natally for you in Aries. So this is very interesting, and it also squares the nodes. So here it says this Mercury, this one has to do with the possibility of unresolved issues in the mental life of the individual. This can include overly rigid thinking, and I have my own take of this, or excessively restless curiosity that lacks discrimination as to the kind of material that the mind is taking on board. This placement may represent an issue with internalized messages or introjects of a critical nature that undermine the strength of the personality. So, with what I just said, interjects, right? Critical nature. Capricorn moon, that is, has Capricorn moon written all over it, right? So, already what I'm seeing is that it's a huge life part of your life purpose is to overcome and to find self-compassion, right? That's the answer to the Capricorn moon issue, is to find self-compassion and to treat yourself. And I learned this like in Buddhism. It's self-compassion is treating yourself how you would treat a best friend, because the Capricorn moons of the world can have a tendency to be so hard on themselves, but then when it comes to other people, they're not like that. And just like, so it's meditation and any kind of healing is really important because it helps you slow down and actually see. And because you're Pisces rising and you're gifted with these conjunctions of these very psychic, Uranus, Neptune on your moon, that means you're gifted psychically. You're very naturally gifted psychically, but it's about have you tapped into that? Because lots of people with this they have that and it comes out, but like until they actually like start using it and becoming aware of it and start trusting that it is really there, that their intuition is actually on point, and it starts with clearing out the stuff that gets in the way, right? Like think of the metaphor of like a train. A train has to get from point A to point B, but there's lots of shit that's blocking the train tracks. So those metaphoric shits that are blocking the train track for you would be any of like the stories you tell yourself, the self-limiting beliefs you might have about yourself and your ability to be super intuitive, super um you know to fully manifest yourself in whatever way. It's not just intuition, it's just like self-esteem in general, right? Emotional well-being, happiness and feeling secure. So it's really like getting down to the nitty gritty. And a lot of people with Capricorn moons can kind of skip therapy. They can be in therapy, but they want to have this tough facade, like nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong. And this is more difficult for the men, by the way. The women I've seen have had less trouble with this because they're allowed in society, to express their emotions. So they typically have a less hard time. But yeah, so it's very, very important, that process. It's very, very important. To really, really slow things down, to get to know yourself on that level, and to act accordingly, to notice, okay, oh, I'm doing that thing. Or you can even give names to the voices or to the different characters. Okay, more with this, the Mercury. So yeah, so okay. So such internalized guilt emphasizing the sixth house Virgo archetype can become the basis for internal shame and masochistic tendencies. This placement may indicate a range of communication issues, for example, an issue with trusting the opinions of others. Lies or conflicting views as to the nature of the truth may have had profound consequences in prior lives. So it's very interesting. Now the fact that it's retrograde adds a further element to this, right? Because your South Node is in Cancer, and I've already kind of given you my like, the South Node, like your kind of past life story as I see it, is that you didn't, another thing about Cancer South Node is that it's the whole crab falling into the shell, right? Too much in the home life, right? Not enough in the world where your true gifts could have been really, really useful. So, with the Mercury retrograde, you have that in this lifetime. People have retrograde Mercury because in past lifetimes, either they spoke too much or they didn't speak enough. They thought in a way that was off of it, or like there's something that, so it's even though it's in Aries, which Mercury in Aries is typically very, very like, gung ho with its thought process and its communication. It will add some level until you reach a certain evolutionary point. Maybe you've reached it already. That does hold one back, and the fact that it does square the moon, 10 degrees, but yeah, it squares that kind of, and the Aries squares the Capricorn basically. There is that battle between logic and emotion, right? Between trusting the emotions and trusting logic, and it can make someone an overthinker, right? An overthinker, which Capricorn moons, it's very common for them to be overthinkers. So then when you're an overthinker, right, and you're too much in the material in the material world, it lends itself, which Aries is very material world-esque. um it can lend itself to cycles, like cycles of just like same shit, right? So the best way, yeah, to manifest that is to really, really, and also like Mercury retrograde people can project. There can be some level of projection where they're projecting uh past life things that happen in past life onto people, circumstances onto people in their current life. Like it's like someone hurt you in a past life, and you almost project that onto someone in your current life, right? So it's just about awareness. It's about also knowing that you'd probably be very right brained. So like writing, journaling, anything with communication, like that's a huge thing for Capricorn Moon, is like being able to like find an avenue for communicating your emotions. That's why I say therapy is so huge, but that's not the only way. Writing, with your third house Venus and Taurus is another great avenue. But overall, you're really, really trying to move in a direction that is more about helping humanity, more about having your moon be a vessel, right, where you can clear that train track and allow, because when it's cleared, and meditation is the best thing for this. When it's cleared, you can sit, and with moon conjunct Uranus, let me tell you, that is like download central. I don't care what your moon sign is. If you have moon conjunct Neptune, or moon conjunct Uranus, or in Neptune, one, Uranus, you can just, when your mind is completely silent, when you've gone past like these beliefs or these thoughts that might like come up and up and up and up, you actually have that confidence in yourself. You can literally be like a complete channel of spiritual information, where you just like, I'd practice like meditating for long periods of time, or short. You gotta start somewhere. And if you're not big in meditation, I don't know if you are or not, just start with like 5 minutes, and just add 2 minutes each day. And I think you got to follow up. If you did, we can talk about all this stuff and remind me. Um, but yeah, like, you know, um, the moon here, yeah. So it's really about clearing the emotional debris, and and just really, and it's 11th house Aquarius. It's all about authentic self. So with Uranus there and Neptune there, it's really important for you to surround yourself, because especially Neptune so high, so close to the moon, you are so impacted by the energies around you. You're like a complete empath, right? But then there's that hardened Capricorn side, so it kind of goes both ways. So it could be something that has to be activated, right? Um, oftentimes it could be at, with like a big Neptune transit, which, by the way, let me just see, where did my Zoom go? Okay, let me just check. But yeah, it's something, it could be activated with like a Neptune transit, or with, when Neptune, you know, with the Neptune square that everyone has, that, it's like one of the midlife crisis transits. My cat is making me throw her little mouse down the stairs for fetch. So you did get a follow. Yeah. So in the follow, also I want to say that like nearly every single person doesn't just get the follow up. They add the current astrology. It's usually like 300 plus. I am happy to do it for 250. So you just have to let me know. And instead of just an hour follow up, it's an hour follow up, then 2 hours, sometimes a little bit more, of current astrology, of like all your transits, all that's going on now. And I highly, highly recommend it. It's really amazing. And like everyone that's gotten it, it's a live reading, obviously. I set like one date where that's your date, and that's it. Like, you're the only person I'm talking to that day. And it's probably the best way to utilize me, is because we go straight from the follow up right into the current astrology, right into, let's say you have like I mean, you have gone past Pluto on your moon in the last few years, so that's huge. But yeah, there could be lots of things going on, right? Like, and you also had Pluto square your sun, and oh my God, you probably had a fucking period. I can tell you the time if I actually, where's animates? Watch this. I'm gonna tell you the year, and you're gonna be like, "Yep." No, 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 not like this. Um, chart options, quadrille. Okay, well, I'll just share the screen again so you can see all the cool shit. And this is like what I would do during a current astrology reading. Uh, like a lot of things. I do everything. Solar return. But let's see. Okay, so I'm looking for Pluto to be at around 16 or 17, 18 degrees. So there you go. So 2017, around that time, could be like 2016, 2017, 2018. Like those years were probably like fucking absolutely bonkers for you. You had Pluto uh on your moon, woo, and then squaring your sun at the same time. Holy shit, I can't believe you made it out. Um, so that's dope. But yeah, let me know if you want to add that reading. We'll set a date and time and all that stuff. But yeah. Um, so okay. So anyways, yeah, so it's really about yeah, looking at the self-limiting beliefs, continuously working on yourself, continuing the healing, it never stops. And understanding that your purpose is definitely a very spiritual one, you know? As a Pisces rising, you have this chameleon like ability, right? To really just kind of, I'm just gonna show my face and then I have to pause but as the but this ability to really just like shapeshift, you know? But also it adds further to this energy of blending in, you know, and of people can like project on you really easily, right? Which can be very hurtful to you. When people can kind of see you through their own lens as opposed to seeing the real you. Um, so that's tough. Um, so okay, they're showing Brazil. What time is it? My boy Neymar. Anyways, call my dad for the football matches. But yeah, so with the Mercury retrograde, you could have had like a different learning style. So like really, it could have caused pain. Whereas in your Chiron, yeah, there's definitely Chiron in Cancer conjunct South Node. Maybe there's some like yeah, some karmic family pain that you're meant to like to really be the one to make things right. You know. Especially with your Mars in Cancer, which is speaking to in the fifth house with more creativity, but it's also like really, really, really about your family and about wanting a family, wanting kids, wanting, you know, to sort things out. And also, it's really great that your Mars is in Cancer because it's giving you this push. Even though Mars in Cancer is a weak Mars placement, in the sense that you know it's in its fall position, but the great part is that it is it's giving you a push. Mars gives you a push towards towards actually like going within your emotions, not repressing. So so yeah. Football starts and like I can't concentrate anymore. So, yeah, there's a lot more to talk about. I need to, you know, go further into the outer planets and some of the aspects there, talk about the Pluto, talk about the asteroids. Um but yeah, you know, like basically like, you know, there's lots of really, really big empath energies. But then there's other parts of your chart, like your 12th house Saturn that would, you know, make it can create all kinds of phobias and fear of the dark, fear of spirituality itself, fear of actually going into that world, maybe from like past life issues around it. Um, and your Saturn doesn't have any aspect either. So it's like kind of solo in that position. Actually, no, it's opposite Jupiter. What I'm talking about. Yeah. It's more of like it's an interesting one actually. Um, but yeah, like it really speaks to like just being of service is really like a huge part of your karma. And you know, like you could be a great counselor, but every healer has to go through counselor, anything in that realm, right? Every healer has to go through shit before they can really help other people. You have to go through a certain level of pain and suffering and all that to be able to, and then come back from it to be able to really help. And I even see a vertex in Virgo. That's definitely speaking to um, you know, wanting to help, and your doorway to higher awareness being through, also very relationship oriented in how you can heal. Um, but just I see service all over your chart. Sixth house Jupiter is all about it gives you lots of luck when it comes to health, physical health, the body, the routine. It's in Leo, so it gives you this kind of firepower that your chart really needs. Well, actually, no, you have the Aries Sun, but it complements the Aries Sun in a nice way. Um, and yeah, overall, like you're able to have like a nice daily routine, a nice work, good karma around having like a nice work place, nice surroundings with what you're doing, people around you and whatnot, and you're able to be a big time leader. And then your midheaven, in Sag, conjunct my moon, that's a thing we have in common. You're really, really trying to bring out in your career, find truth and find the Sagittarian knowledge. It's like the gypsy that becomes the teacher that becomes the philosopher. So it's all about experiencing, but not allowing that moon energy to kind of pull you back. So when I come back, we'll dive deeper into some of this stuff, um, and talk more about some of the aspects, and go from there, right? But how long have I talked for? I feel like I've gone way more efficient than I usually do. 46 only. Okay, I'm gonna pause this and come back to it. All right, the game is over. I just checked it, but I want to like double check mic test, 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 test. Okay, very good. I was just worried because I was talking to my dad on these. I was just not worried, just want to be sure that there's no issues with the sound. Okay, let's continue. Why don't we? So as I was saying, very spiritual chart. The fact that Mars, so kind of continuing on where I was at before, the fact that Mars is in Cancer unaspected, it really means that you have this, like, even though Mars is in Cancer, you still have this like kind of firepower, in the sense that Mars is the planet of action, right? Oh shit, where did shit go? And hold on a second, I need to create a new tab, new desktop. Okay. Um, so Mars is a planet of action. So when there's no aspects to it, where were we? Yeah. So when there's no aspects to it, it just kind of lets it run loose. Now, the fact that it is in Cancer, that's not a very like assertive, like in your face Mars, but it can be an untamed energy, like a wild horse kind of energy, right? So you're actually happy that it's in, or you should be happy that it's in Cancer instead of like Aries, or else you just be like a fucking wildfire. Um, but there is definitely a need to like focus on like directing your energy. And with the Mars, it could be like anger, like passive aggression type anger, and having a way to like really express that positively. So like having like a correct outlet for your energy is very important. And yeah, it's very good for motivation and being able to just like go, especially with things concerning Cancer, right? Um, so that's nice. And let me just double check. Yeah, because the opposition with Uranus would be 11, so I wouldn't count that. And then there's no, well, it trines your ascendant, right? So it trines your ascendant, which isn't a planetary point, but that just gives more energy, like more assertiveness to your Pisces ascendant. And it makes you more willing to go out and actually do like what I'm telling you karmically. It's really supportive energy, and with the Aries sun of you actually going and putting these Neptunian Piscean like imagination, dream, spiritual ideas, right, into action. It's supporting that more. Now, so I've talked about a lot. Um, you know, so when we dive into Saturn in the 12th, right? I said I was saying how you can fear anything hidden. And it has to do with like boundaries, right? Um, feeling like your boundaries, especially as the Pisces rising, you can feel like your boundaries are constantly threatened. So that's another big thing for you is Pisces rising sometimes can have issues with boundaries. And because you have your moon with Neptune, the planet that rules your ascendant in your chart, um, same thing, that you're such a sponge for energy, but because you're in Aries, so this is where some of that square comes in, right? The Aries part will make you very social and gung ho and all that. But then like you might really, really have to check who you spend time around, because it can have a huge effect on you, like someone's negative energy, especially during different transits, which that's like the current reading I was talking about if you end up doing that. Where I would see if there's anything like that. But regardless, like of any transit or anything current like astrology related, like you're still going to you're still going to feel like you need your alone time, um and that you need to be very firm on boundaries. So that's another thing with the South Node too, where it is that that could have been a past life issue for you, right? With the Sun square, the South Node in Cancer, you could have been this very, very, very like empathetic person, but who just gave too much of yourself, right, to other people. So yeah, it's important to understand that and to really have firm boundaries in your relationships in all sorts. Now, and also, yeah, definitely watching out for passive aggression. What was I gonna say? And I talked about Mercury retrograde, yeah. So like different learning styles. So if thing, you can be like the tendency for overthinking is very, very, very large. So like I said, it's very important to as your sun is in the second house, right, which is about a very big focus on um getting a lot of, how you call it, getting a lot of like creating a value. Let me take a photo just of me doing, one sec. I just like haven't been doing readings as much lately, so I just want to like have like a story of me doing it. Thank you. Um, show you my face. Yeah, so because the second house, sun, right? That's very important. That's Taurus energy. So you're really trying to assert values and inner security in this lifetime. Um, to where you feel very, very grounded within yourself, very confident within yourself, and very like stable. Like you don't need other people, right? Because the Cancer South Node, sometimes they have a tendency of relying too much on other people. So in this life, you're really trying to rely on yourself. Like I said, like the North Node, like in Capricorn, trying to be your own father. Now, with I'm gonna go back to the case. I'm feeling way more like I was like doing all my readings like that for a while, and now I'm just like whatever. Um, Now with the Saturn the 12th, right? Um, there's a big need for a serious examination of the hidden realm. And then conquering any fears. There can be phobias. Um, you know, feeling like there's like spirits against you, so it's important to really like cleanse yourself spiritually. Like showering is super important. Like when you go out in public and around people, like make sure you come back and you shower. like that clears the energy more than anything, right? Or bathe or whatever. Like really, really, really important to have that water. And yeah, it can just create phobias and fear of the esoteric, fear of the occult. But on the higher end, it can create like a very serious approach to someone who might actually study something like astrology or study something like tarot or spirituality in a very serious way. So it's like conquering the fears, and then it really opens up things in that realm of life. But yeah, the key to a lot of these things is grounding your energy, right? Grounding your energy, and that's really like the highest energy of Capricorn moon, is being able to ground your energy. um and then also, take the very positive influences of Neptune and Uranus, those, like that beautiful compassion. It just has to be turned on. It's like a switch, and then you're like, oh shit, like I'm very Piscean, I'm very even like Aquarian in a sense, um so midheaven is ruled by Jupiter and Leo, so you could be doing some, that's very favorable for, I don't know, like being a teacher of any kind. um being like like someone who's like an entertainer, or just like someone um who really, like basically like it creates a really good energy, a really like you really want to learn through your career, through your dharma. Like it's very important for you to gain a higher philosophy. Now, the next thing I link this to is the Pluto in the ninth house. Now I'm gonna go back to sharing because I do like need to see these things. Um, so Pluto in the ninth house is very interesting. It basically gives you like a bunch of energy um towards finding higher truth, right? With that said, okay, I just want you to see that. With that said, there can be some darkness in that area too, right? So like there's this powerful drive to discover the meaning of life. Where are we from? Where are we going? Why are we here? Those types of questions, right? But you have to be aware of like any dogmatic kind of way of thinking and seeing life, like with your personal philosophies, because you become very obsessed with like finding with like your like finding those philosophies. You can be, and then when people might challenge them, it's about being flexible, not being like you know my way or the highway kind of energy, right? It's also like very good for travel, study, even religion is ninth house. But I liken it to ninth house, not, I think it's about not just religion, it's about like, because religion can be spirituality, it can, in a sense, right? Like my religion is astrology, so it really does give you this great drive to find whatever that is for you. Religion's a loaded word, you get what I mean though, right? Um, like for example, lots of astrologers have like Saturn, Uranus, planets like that in the ninth. You have Pluto. So, um, besides that, like another really interesting about ninth house Pluto is that people with that, they tend to have this feeling like that they don't really belong in their country they're from a lot of the times. And it's because they've incarnated in so many other places, and they have this real drive to figure out like, where do I want to go? Like what do I want to see? Um, and they really want to explore lots of countries and places. And yeah, so it makes that very important. And being in Aries, right? Obviously, like fire energy, that supports that energy. And being a Pisces rising, it's beautiful for being a traveler, because it gives you the ability to really blend in, be a chameleon, to blend into wherever you're at. And you're very mutable. You're someone who's like a very like, your personality is very go with the flow. But the thing is, like, does the Capricorn moon slow that down, and does the Mercury retrograde make one overthink? That you want to be like someone who goes with the flow, and very, very imaginative. Like Pisces risings have beautiful eyes, like kind of mystique to them. They have this very like this energy that's very innocent outwardly. Um, they tend to be like more shy, and prefer to feel comfortable before like really like kind of going in situations and taking initiative. But yeah, it's very versatile, flexible. Um, but there can be like some anxiety, some indecision, right? That can come from being a Pisces rising. And also some feelings of being misunderstood and misseen, as I talked about before, right? But really, it adds more sensitivity to you, and it's also very psychic and in potential medium gifts, which I'm seeing all over your chart, especially with your moon, right? Which is like that's like where it's at, the moon, right? Also just makes you like even more like understanding. So I like this because you have like understanding and like lending your ear to other people and yeah, so it's very common for healers to have Pisces rising. Because they're super empathetic and they have that. Now, with that said, I like how it mixes with the Neptune on your moon a lot because they're just it's really making this whole North Node journey for you a lot easier. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned about the North Node journey is the fact that it's in the 11th house. So I haven't talked about that much. And then you have all these planets in the 11th. So 11th house is about friends, it's about groups, associations, but it's also about like the larger than life goals, the goals, like the biggest goals we have, right? And the ones that take lifetime, like the whole lifetime to figure out, And then oh god, I love astrology. You have Sun square Uranus too. So that is, people who have that, my girlfriend has it, so I know it well. They're very, very rebellious, and they often have like a very they always have a very special life purpose. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure it out. And because your midheaven is in Sag, there is that ability to switch and to try different things, as it relates to career. Um, and yeah, 11th house moon, it can make things kind of dicey with friends, like where there's like lots of changes with friends. But the goal is to find friends with Uranus and Neptune there that you connect with on like a very spiritual level, Neptune, like spirit tribe, right? And then Uranus, like people who are not afraid to be themselves, right? And these people will really, really help you in your healing journey. Now, it doesn't just stop at that. It also goes to lovers because I'm not going to share the screen again. But Juno, the planet of like your ideal marriage partner, is conjunct your North Node. So basically, like you, that just shows that you're whoever you marry or whatever, like you're it's very, very fated. It's written in the stars. Like it's very, very predetermined. I mean, like I'm not gonna get into the debate of like is that how it is for every person, but it's very, very, very karmic your relationship in relationships in general. But like this isn't Venus, so Venus is more dating. This is Juno, so this is like the love relationships, or maybe even just like the relationship. And it's in Capricorn, so it makes you really want to as a cat moon, and it goes very well. Look for a partner who is one humanitarian, right? So the moon in the 11th house also just gives you this really, really big humanitarian, and Uranus there too, Neptune there too, like this real like feeling of responsibility to give back to humanity through your work and through your life and through whatever you do, right? You really want to help heal people, right? It's a very, very big indicator of a healer. Now, Juno there, um, it's like you definitely want someone who has that too, who has that kind of shared ideals, and maybe even meet them like in a friend group or something that you join, organization, association, anything of that sort. That's when you're going towards your life purpose, you meet that person just like that, and you guys have like similar thing. But then the fact that it's in Capricorn is very interesting because that means that you're looking for someone on a marriage level who's very, very solid. And it goes also with your Venus and Taurus. Like you are very, very security based. And actually your Juno is trining your Venus. So there's a very nice blend between like what you value in someone and what you are looking for in like the next level like partner. And that's like someone who has this like very grounding earth energy. Now I'm going all over the place, but this goes back to that second house sun. The sun's house is very, very important. And yes, you're in Aries, second house is Taurus. So, you're really trying to um, ground yourself in this lifetime so that you can accomplish all these goals, right? It's like that whole railroad thing I was telling you. But also finding values, right? So being consistent in finding values like it's like a moral code, you know, or like a written document of this is like, you know, and this I live my life based off of these morals and values. Like it's very important to have that, and self-sufficiency too, right? So um yeah, having a partner that supports that, who serves almost as like a kind of rock, and who gives you that feeling of not just like you know, of not just, I'm not gonna lie, like financial security is important to you, right? um or like it would be indicated that like not in a gold digger way, but you enjoy as a Venus and Taurus the finer things in life. You like cuddling, you like being close, you like touch, you know, you love languages like that. So and I think you basically what I see with that Juno is like you'd be very interested. You might even like have a partner where like your guys' life purpose is intertwined. You guys like working together or something like that, you know, there's like a larger goal. Um, but yeah, like there's definitely someone who's like your rock, who's so consistent you don't have to like doubt like if they're gonna, you know, switch up on you or anything like that. So yeah. Now lick my lips a little bit. Um, Interesting about your chart, there's lots of fire. We have earth, we have water, but we have no air. So, I will tell you that you should be doing breath work. Um, Breath work, and yeah, you have Saturn, air, and whatever. But like I'm talking inner planets. Um, Breath work, getting out in nature. People who lack air is about like intelligence. So you lack intelligence. I'm just joking. No, it's about lack. It's about seeing the other perspective, right? It's about, you know, it's social, right? It's about like air is what bonds everything. So it's working on that, and you know, with your moon and all those planets in the 11th house, which is the Aquarius house, which is an air house. Um, a lot of your life purpose will be around, you know, groups and friends and stuff like that. So it's important. Like breath work is like a really, really good thing. Hiking, anything that gives you more physical oxygen, um, and just like putting yourself in more social situations, um, it's very, very, very good, especially with traveling with the Pluto. Because you might be like a shy person. Even as an Aries, a shy Aries, especially, yeah. My guess is that you're quite shy, or worse, quite shy. Um, Mercury retrograde too. But yeah. Let's see. So Moon opposite Chiron, though, that's interesting because that speaks to like, obviously it's like on the nodal axis, but like how there is, so that kind of like backs up what I was saying earlier about how you have come in this lifetime with some pains, some pains, mostly around like the family and expressing your true self within the family. Um and that you're trying to undo those, right? So yeah, like speaking about like, my guess would be that you probably have gone through periods of depression, just guessing, and maybe identity crisis type stuff, um early on, but like every healer has to go through this kind of thing, right? So it's very important. But yeah, just like anything in astrology, the moon, like in aspect to Uranus, Neptune, North Node, and Chiron, even though the Chiron isn't and the Sun, but even though the Chiron is in opposition, once integrated, that is you taking back your power and taking all that past life healer energy into your current life. Such a healer chart. Um, So, and even if you're not a healer, you will have a natural healing effect on people. So, okay, another thing is you have Eris conjunct your sun, exact. So that is very interesting, because Eris is an asteroid that is about, it's like a volcano, right? So Aries is already very volcanic, and I'm trying to find something here, but yeah, overall, like it can make one a loose cannon, but like there's not that many supporting energies in there. But like Eris is literally the sister of Mars, like, which is the god of war, right? So and like Mars was known for bringing fear and destruction, but Eris was known to magnify this. like taking pleasure in creating suffering, um, and her actions that led to the start of the Trojan War, of course, right? So, but like it really pushes you, kind of like Pluto. Like my girlfriend has on her moon, so I know it well. Um, it like pushes the buttons that lead you to transformation, right? Brings discord, um, but it's needed for the person to move like towards their highest goal. Maybe we'll do a post on it. So, it's all about surrender. Um, learning to ground yourself, and like creative ways to transform this energy, like channel it basically, right? Um, so yeah, it's all about it just adds like lots of power, and it's all about you stepping into that power and trusting your instincts and taking bold action. I'm gonna do a post on there soon. So yeah, but overall, like the you know, the energies, it's about feeding the Aries side and the Capricorn side, right? Side. So, um, it could definitely be channeled into career, something that's exciting and something that keeps you on your feet and moving, and something where you're also giving back, right? Um, potentially, and yeah, having Jupiter in the sixth house is very nice for that, as I said before. And Jupiter and Leo, they're always like so fun loving and generous, very enthusiastic, creative, loving children also, like very giving and very smiley. I've never met a Jupiter Leo that's not like giving me like warm vibes, you know. And the six, like I already talked about, like the daily routine, the health, and how it's like you have lots of luck in that area. But also what's interesting is that it's about um taking your beliefs, your beliefs I talk about so much, your truth, and having those into your work, like having those like be a part of your daily life, and work and health routines, like even like things like meditation, like yeah, combining those two. Okay, so Sun also square Neptune, that's a tough one. And there is a T square that I haven't mentioned yet, which is between the South Node Chiron energy, the Sun, and that Moon um, in Neptune, let's say. Here's kind of a little bit, yeah, yeah, the Moon, yeah, and yeah. So it's very interesting, actually. I want to get into this first about this T square because it gets resolved through the sign of Libra, which is about compromise, which is in your eighth house. Super interesting stuff. So follow me here. So this is actually a huge resolution point to your whole chart, is learning to have diplomacy, but also to not give away your power. Like low energy, low Libra gives their power away. They people please, and Pisces risings can sometimes do the same, especially in relationships. So in your relationship energy is very, very earthy. So it is very, very logical. But however, it's like the eighth house is like a T square is like a bow and arrow. So it's like there's like the apex, there's one here, and then it shoots out into the opposite part of the apex, and that's where the healing point is. So eighth house Libra is about um diving deep into your death rebirth transformation of the Scorpio energy, into your shadow. And also it's very relational, so it's done through relationships, and it's about finding diplomacy in your actions and in your way of speaking, and yeah, like really bringing peace to yourself and balance to yourself and those around you, but not to the expense of you. So as I was saying, Sun square Neptune can create, as I said, like identity crisis, issues around the father, confusion around the father. Maybe the father wasn't around that much of the Uranus. And just yeah, like integrated, it's amazing. Another amazing one for being a great healer, right? And for being someone who's super super empathetic. But um there's definitely some hurdles that probably have to get jumped over before that, or that had to get jumped over before that. But yeah, Neptune, yeah, I mean, it is your ruling planet, right? So it's like it is a big one for you, right? So it's like there's lots of battles you have to overcome. And I'm gonna get into Venus opposite Pluto next. To Lots of battles you have to overcome in order to feel really confident about yourself and in your purpose, right? There can be lots of like victim mentality kind of stuff. It's just more sensitivity, right? So like this is the thing with the South Node in Cancer. When bad things happen, like you get cheated on, or like like there's the low energy is like crawling back in the shell and never trusting again, right? But you're really really meant to like power through all the hard stuff that happens to you in life. um yeah, so it's like you have to just like take corrective action. Not And also watch out for like drugs and alcohol. And yeah, as I've mentioned many times, a lot of times people who have this, they have to deal with these things at an early age. So I imagine the early life being very important. Um, Also watching out for like being gullible and having like kind of like stronger willed people trying to like deceive you and fuck you over. Because you're very very trusting. Although, yeah, even the tuning into the Capricorn moon with Neptune will give you that intuition to just know about someone. Which my intuition says that you've already done that, or you've really really gone far with that. Um, so yeah, like it's all about like fighting against the odds, you know? Like you're someone who wants to fight for like the people who don't have a voice, who are discriminating against. It gives that energy, right? Like social causes are very very important, which is like your 11th house North Node is very much about social causes too. Um, so yeah, it's all about also maintaining like this second house Sun, the strong set of morals that help you deal with these battles that come up. So yeah, it's all about like removing the self doubt, improving the inner strength. Um, Working out can be really really good for this. And then another thing I tell every single person that has Neptune, uh, like prominent, is that using video cameras, like literally take your phone, film yourself, and make like a vlog and just talk about your emotions. That is the best thing you can do. Or a mirror, right? Even if you look crazy doing it. Like I'm telling you, Neptune is rules cameras, mirrors, and several other things. So that is like a great way for you if you were to like do like a daily Morgan vlog where you don't show anyone this shit, unless you want to. But yeah, speaking that and really really making an important effort. Now, yeah, I already talked about like the big rebel energy, especially against probably the father, if that's a person. And then the Chiron one is just pain, yeah, just pain around the father relationship. So there's pain around just the family in general. Um, so yeah, it gets resolved through that balancing, through coming together and not allowing your own integrity and your own power to be diminished. But yeah, like what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, making it so like you're not like a fiery Aries, just like boom boom boom. Like you're like really just like balancing things out and having a strong set of values and boundaries that like if someone crosses them, like no, right? That's gotta be how it is. Okay, so besides that, I was gonna get into Venus opposite Pluto. I see this a lot. It's kind of weird. Um, your Mercury in Aries is unaspected from what I see. Um, let's double check with my eyes. No, it's square. It's 7 degrees, but it's square Chiron. So yeah, that speaks about like pain around communication and maybe feeling like your voice wasn't heard enough growing up, and like you doubt like doubting your own like doubting your own way of thinking. Maybe you had a very, because of the moon and the Uranus and Neptune, maybe you shut down that psychic energy, right? That really special energy that's probably way different than people in your family. And maybe you were, like shamed for your way of thinking. So, and this is the answer right here. Mercury retrograde people, they tend not to learn the same way. Like, so school can be really challenging for them, even if they're fucking smart as hell. So that could have created like lots of pain in that coming up stage. So with the Venus opposite Pluto, this is a massive one. I have Venus square Pluto, so I understand this energy. That can create self-hate. Um, Legit, like it's a really, really tough aspect to have. And basically like uh it creates all kinds of relationship problems because Venus, you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else, that whole thing. So what happens is that basically like you're drawn like until you get to a point, and having Venus in Taurus really makes it a lot easier than other Venuses, but still you until you get to a point where you're like really, really at ease with yourself, really have felt that self-love, um and really, really like have grown spiritually, you'll be drawn to, there can be like an obsession with relationships, especially since your Venus, yeah, never mind. And also your relationships are very healing. And also this is another, like, how many fucking indicators of a healer do you have? Chiron sextile Venus, nearly exact. And then Venus also sextile the south node. So that's actually speaking about like how your relationships, um like there's lots of karma with like Juno's on your north node, Venus is sextile your south node, so all your relationships will be very karmic and past life based. um and if you are married or something, I highly would suggest a compatibility reading with me. Like, I love doing those and they're so fun. I know I've recommended the other reading too, but I just like to tell people like what I offer because I never really do. And I got like I love doing those. So Venus opposite Pluto, basically the person who has that will seek out more like ugly relationships with really dark people. And they can have this cycle of like just like going for the same type, who treats them like shit until they learn to really truly value themselves and love themselves. And this can be like in accordance with the issues with the father, perhaps if there's, I don't want to say daddy issues, but issues with the father, the dominant parent, whoever it is. And I've done these charts where like I say it's the father, and then the person's like, actually everything you said was correct, but it was actually the parents were flipped. So keep that in mind. Um, but yeah, like it definitely is it makes one like love really intensely, really, really quickly. So like there's like this super fast like energy, like you're so like you're drawn to like someone super quickly and intensely. Um, but like then when you talk about loving your chart, having a Capricorn moon can make the opening up process difficult by itself. Um, so yeah, basically like your relationships are like where you meet your darkness in a lot of ways, right? Like key issues of self that are like needing to be explored get reflected back to you like the shadow in relationships, right? Especially when it comes to like power and control within relationships. So people who have this, they might try to like they can be control freaks in relationships because they're so afraid of losing the other person that they might like go over the edge with like manipulation, power games, all that kind of stuff to kind of keep things good. So it's all about just like surrender, letting go, and a lot of times there's like a fear of abandonment that's underlying it all. And yeah, so lots of healing that's needed there. And in the end, you grow stronger in your self-value and fulfill and being able to fulfill your own needs, like your North Node is asking you to do. And it's just this, the development with self-love allows you to have like these very deep, mutually empowering relationships that are healthy, right? Because that's what Pluto Venus is like the soul, like twin flame. I don't like using that word, but like that kind of energy, like the best relationships. But yeah, there's hurdles that have to get jumped over first. Okay, so I think I've gone over every aspect. Um, did I say Moon is trying Venus? So that's like another like super psychic one, like just like also super creative. And yeah, I mean that one's great. That one's great. in the sense that what you value is very in line with like what you feel. So it makes one very kind, honest. Also, it's very good for beauty, for physical beauty, and for just like that kind of like energy, like energetic beauty, right? It's very good karma placement. It makes you really like to take care of people and gives like a maternal instinct, regardless of the sex, right? And um, and it makes one really love and love to be loved. And it's really makes it really easy for people to like you, especially as a Pisces rising. And you have this like intuitive knowledge of like what other people need, which is very good for friendships and things like that. And having like a very calming influence around people. So, and yeah, definitely like a very peaceful person. And it's also like amazing for like artistic, musical, creative talents, right? So, yeah. And what else? Also, it's like good for like, like health, like moon rules the digestive system and Venus rules food. So you have like this understanding of, of how important like healthy eating is and a healthy lifestyle is. And but you can become very depressed if you like because you'll care a lot about like health and appearance, but someone with this can become very depressed if they like gain weight, right? Or like feel like they're not looking good or something like that, right? And Venus, this trine plus Venus and Taurus definitely gives us sweet tooth. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, Venus and Taurus I talked about like so like it's in third house, so yeah, it brings back writing, and it's close to Algol, but it's not close enough for it to really matter. Um, your Venus, and yeah, like it's nice, right? It typically creates good relationships with siblings. Um, and yeah, like someone who like wants to approach relationships in a very like slow and steady way, and very very like it's also very yeah very good for finances, good financial karma. Moving on. Okay, so Ceres is kind of like your second moon, but not as important as moon, not even close. But it's in the eighth house in Libra. So it's like kind of how you nurture and how you feel nurtured. So you feel nurtured and feel and cared for when there's like peace, an atmosphere of peace around you and cooperation, right? With those that you love and care for. And in the eighth house, your soul feels nourished when you feel deep and intense emotions, and you go through that death rebirth transformation, and you dive into things like astrology, metaphysical matters. Also it can make one like with sexuality, um make one like be able to like give and receive lots of comfort in sexual experiences. Also, interestingly, it can make someone very good at caring for dying people. So that's another career job possibility, honestly. Speaking of another fucking healer aspect. Um, Descendant, seventh house cusp, Virgo, once again, like literally so much of the love stuff is Earth. So yeah, reliability, vertex in Virgo, like you'll show your love by the things you're willing to do, the actions you're willing to do, and you really really want like the little things you do to go noticed. You don't like like it rub you the wrong way. If like you did this like little thing, not like let's say you clean the house, or you get your partner something that if you have a partner something that you remember that they really loved, and they don't like show like that gratitude, like that will annoy you. It's the little things like that, right? Um, okay. So talk about this, talk about that, talk about this. Black Moon Lilith in Sag, 27 degrees, 10th house. Okay. So this is like your dark side. It's the part that comes out when you are at your worst or like lowest vibe. So the fact that it's in the 10th house, it's like 9 degrees from your midheaven. Um, it's kind of talking about how on one hand, um, you have to watch out for like being like too like in career, like overriding people and stuff like that, like overly ambitious. Because you are ambitious, right? But it's just like you got to watch out for that. Um, and there can be like an air of superiority that can come with this, like at work or just like with what you do. So it's really important to know about that and to know that a lot of your karma is about working with people. Like you are great, you are an Aries, right? Like you're a leader. So it's like not being like too bossy, I guess, right? And seeing and trying to see like the strengths that other people have. And appreciating like their skills and what they bring to the table, and that in turn will bring love and respect to you from people. Um in Sag, so this can be lots of things. So on one hand, it can be like, and this is just you at your worst when you're vibrating low. It can go back to the whole thing of like my truth is the only truth, and you fuck your truth, blah blah blah, that kind of energy vibes, right? One second, I'm gonna hold on, hold on. I just remember I have to fucking check something. One second. Uh, I thought, okay, whatever. Um, so yeah, in Sag, it's like, yeah, watch out for that, but also like throwing yourself into too many new ventures at once, right? Um, and being the jack of all trades, master of none. So, and also it can make someone like kind of reckless in the in the pursuit of their ambitions and goals, right? Um, so yeah, it's like like you have a carriage of horses, you're in charge, your Aries sun with Aries is in charge, but like it's like the horses can tend to just be like crazy. It's about like controlling them and grounding, right? Um, so yeah, getting all pieces to work together, um, and all sides of you to work together. So yeah, this can make someone like be like a great leader, a great teacher, but they just have to get over that ability. They need to also learn to listen and take other people's view and understand that other people have different truths. I just checked my latest article I wrote about like people who don't believe in astrology and how to deal with them. I think that's very, you might enjoy reading it. Okay, aside from that, let's talk Palace in the seventh in Virgo. So Palace is like your third eye. So seventh house, um, lots of wisdom. So this is another one for healers, and for relationships. So like you have lots of like intuitive wisdom about how people relate to each other. So you make it like a really good like marriage counselor, just counselor in general. Um, but then there can be like difficulty sharing your feelings with with your intimate partners, which is the Capricorn moon does the same thing with. We'll talk about that in the follow up, and hopefully the follow up plus current astrology. In Virgo, it gives like a very analytical mind. Um, and yeah, like you can really like apply yourself to different projects. They're very detailed and be very like have like very like yeah discriminative mind. Very good for also being involved in like the field of health or mental health, and just being very very respected in that field. So then we have Vesta in the fourth in Gemini. Vesta, when I feel into Vesta, it's very like it's the keeper of the flame. Um, it's definitely like kind of Virgo vibes, service. Um, Cancer vibes a little bit too. So yeah, it's like Saturn, right? Because they're both symbols of work. But yeah, because but like the thing is like the difference is um Vesta like it works kind of better than Saturn in a sense because it points to areas where someone is like less resistant to having to take up whatever responsibility might come, right? So it can be very self-sacrificial, and you have it on your IC, or no, actually it's 10 degrees away, but it's on your part of fortune. So yeah, so and it's in Gemini. So fourth house, Vesta, that's just like all about the like really like a commitment to the family and the home. But remember, boundaries. And really want to make things right with your family origin and your family of future. Which I definitely see for you. Mars in the fifth house. Cancer. Come on. Fifth house is like children, Cancer is mother. Fifth house is really Cancer. Come on. Come on. Come on. But you never know. I don't like to make predictions like in that way. But yeah, what was I gonna say? So yeah, really being able to like look after people and be a healer, like really like come on, I swear I'm not making this up. And lots of times, yeah, like extra responsibilities we're giving in childhood, which we've talked about a million times, which prepare you for this role of healer later in life. In Gemini, so this is interesting, little air, that makes networking and speaking, communicating, coordinating, all those things like very big factors in your work, where you'll enjoy the exchange of information and communication at work, um, and maybe avoiding emotions in favor of more intellectual conversations. But also, as I said, this is amazing for writing. And not only this, I was going to go, I've talked about Juno, Ceres, Pallas, Vesta. Yeah, I covered all the four major asteroids. But part of fortune is right there. So that means that this whole thing I just talked about writing is massive, because that's like where you have the luck, right? Like where not luck, like joy, where you find joy. So fourth house part of fortune, one, yeah, you find lots of joy through being in touch with like your inner self and your family, and having things good with your family. But there's a big need to like detach from worldly expectations of who you're supposed to be, right? Sun square Uranus. Um, and in Gemini, it's about how so much joy can come through, you know, one, living in the present moment, and having a lot like friends, and communicating and learning in general. Um, but also writing, you know, or some form of creative self-expression. But Gemini is, is communicating or writing. So yeah, and maybe it's fourth house, maybe it's about emotions. So very cool stuff. Okay, let's see. I got over everything besides, let's pull up my asteroids. Asteroids and fixed stars. I have to stare at my computer to see if I see anything. Oh shit. Who texted me? Oh, what I like. um, so interesting. Now, this is not one that I've studied much. Haley, my Moon Girl reading, is my good friend. She is way more into these asteroids like Fama. But Fama, fame, is on your fucking sun, exactly. Um, so I I need to know. I mean, obviously, like the first instinct is like, duh, like there's potential for fame. I've never seen Fama on a sun before, just by the way, matter of fact. Um, yeah, so yeah, like yeah, like basically like fame can manifest easier for you if it's it's on your sun. Like you could literally be famous. I swear I'm not just like saying this to, like, make you happy, like legit. And I'm looking for more info about it. I don't think I've ever said the word fame in a reading. I just recently put it into my asteroid fixed star list. Um, let's see if I can find something. Yeah, it represents fame and what you're most likely to gain from fame, is how much potential you have to gain fame. So you have a lot of potential for fame. Um, yeah, that's wild. People are saying wild shit. Like, what? How are you saying that? Like, what? Okay, well, the first part was like seemed right, but the other part, the fact that you're not saying that like the sun on Fama, okay, like it makes fucking sense. We don't really have to talk that much about it. Like we get it, okay? And Eris is there too. That's superpower. I already talked about that one. Now I can't fucking see the numbers. I know this is Hawthor, but not close enough. And how many numbers are there? Just imagine I'm seeing like a bunch of numbers crunched together. 23, 26. Okay, I see. No, I don't see. Oh, 7, 11, 21, 23. You might have like really amazing musical powers, and sound powers, but it's not that tight with Hawthorne. Okay, moving on, moving on, moving on. Um, you have Rigel on your IC. Okay, so that is what's oh shit. Yo, so you have a lot of wealth aspect, or wealth things going on. So you have Aldebaran, which is like what the lucky, maybe the luckiest fixed star in all of astrology, on your part of fortune. Um, so it's really, really like that makes you very, very lucky. It's really, really good karma. Um, I doubt I could ever find any information about part of fortune, but I know that the part, yeah, part of fortune. I can't find shit. But more importantly, it legit said poverty. I'm not lying. And these are like old definitions. It just said one word poverty when I was telling you. But the good thing is that Power Fortune is not a planet and is a hypothetical point. And that the IC is close, which is not a planet either, but it is an angle, which is like the ascendant, right? Rigel is all about money, riches, happiness, glory, all these things. So to have that on your IC, it's just like on any angle, I mean, IC is like the least powerful one, but it could just, speak to like just good fortune, like luck when it comes to finances. Um, but IC is not that powerful. Okay. So nothing here, nothing there. Okay, so here we have no. Come on, show me the shit. Okay. This is funny. It's like all these like asteroids I just fucking added. So Stirche, I don't know. Like I'm like I have all these languages in my head. So this is very interesting. You have your Jupiter conjunct Stirce, Circe. And this is like a very big witch energy about herbalism, bewitchment, magic, enchantress, the witch, of course. So Circe lived alone on an uncharted island where she practiced witchcraft. Oh my god, how much does this go with yourself in the story? Necromancy, shape-shifting, shamanism, herbalism, and illusion. She was multi-talented and was especially known for her knowledge of potions. I fucking sensed that shit when I was like talking to yourself, Ned. So yeah, so it's wow. So once again, like magic, like paganism, um, just it's and you have Jupiter, like the best planet you could possibly have on it. So like It's in the sixth house of your job. So you might be born to be a witch or born to be someone who, and you can read more into the mythology of it, but um, it's a big one, right? And I'm looking. So yeah, it's a goddess of sorcery, great magical abilities. So it's where you may find magical abilities of your own. So, and so Jupiter will just expand that and make it bigger. By the way, I haven't looked at your profile. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea anything about you. I purposely forget and don't look at anything besides the birth time, so I don't know shit about you. I'll follow, and I usually follow clients like after I do the reading, after we talk live. Um, so it's quite tragic, like Lilith, the mythology. They've often been described in horrible ways over many years, but the patriarchy does have a way of demonizing powerful women. So we're going to ignore that part of the mythology. Those in the prominent natal cirque can tap into sorcery more easily than others. They may especially have a gift with herbs and potions. It's also associated with the number 34. And that's also, yeah, that's like if you want to find it in astro.com. Interesting. Yeah. And do I have Hecate? I do. I have to, right? No, I need to check. Wow. You have Urania conjunct the vertex. Descendant has Zosma on it. Shit. Zosma is like an astrologer, it's one of those like truth seeking ones. Um, so this is another indicator, like that's like I made a post a while ago from based on ancient Babylonian astrology of like three fixed stars, and it's exactly on your descendant. So wow, and descendant's very important for this kind of thing. And then you have Urania. Oh no, no, never mind. No, and then you have Denebula on your vertex. So like Denebula is another one of those three. It was Denebula, Zosma, and Hydra. Fuck. Um. So yeah. Okay, moving forward. Let's see here. So Zubin El Shalami, which is another fucking one with magic in herbs, and it's on your Pluto, and you're so fucking lucky that your Pluto is not a little bit further because there's this, let's just call it what it is, fucked up asteroid called Serpentis, and you're just out of range of that. Zubin al Shalami is also about writing. So like you see these themes. This is one of my better readings in a while. I love this. I fucking love this shit. So arrows on the midheaven. Interesting. That's like what it sounds like, you know, erotic energy. And I don't know. Maybe you're meant to be a porn star. I'm just joking. But like, I find that interesting. I think the way I know the honest way I would look at it is that midheaven is how you come off on social media. It's how you come off in general. So you would have like a very attractive, sexy quality, most likely that people see. Like so, like it goes to the fame thing. I've never said. I don't know if I've ever had a reading where I've really like said anything about fame. By the way, and I'm not saying you're going to be famous. I'm just saying these are showing up. But like having Eros on the midheaven can make one irresistible to people like who see them like in photos or just their energy in general. Um, so yeah. And then what's Vega doing? I know there's a connection with Vega and Neptune. And the moon is the moon? No, it's out. Damn, so much stuff. Um, I have another idea. Sorry. It's a really good sign when I have a client who one was super patient and the reading took a while and didn't message me, and two when I get downloads through the readings. So I really look forward to speaking to you. I love you so much. So okay, Vega, we'll finish on this note. Where am I? 147, a fucking course. I can never. I need to change my fucking website to be like 90 to 120 minutes because literally never under 90. Okay, so Neptune and Vega makes one timid, fond of music, occult interest, practical and scientific in mind, associated with occult societies, material success, home may be broken up, liable to accidents. This is all from like old astrology. Um, Natural death in old age, especially when Mars is in a favorable aspect, which it is. A tendency for occult and mysticism may be given. Now, Uranus, is it conjuncted enough though? Not really. No. And you're lucky because the Uranus one isn't good. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I fucking love this reading. This is actually let me pull one thing up. Let's see if I see anything else with like this other list I have. Ooh, so you have Bacchus on your ascendant. So watch out for the alcohol. You might be someone that really likes the wine because it's already in Pisces. Or substances in general, which I already told you with the Neptune square, you gotta watch out for substances. Okay. This is my best reading in a long time. I mean, if I'm like, if I'm tripping and I'm like, you're wrong about everything, like, I'm just gonna quit astrology. Okay, no, it's Juno, but what's this one? Oh no, it's not conjunct. Okay, anything with that? No, no, no. Okay, that's it. I'm stoked. Feels good. It feels good to be in Sagg season, um, and to do a reading like this. Um, Showing my face even like fuck, feel so energized. Maybe it's your energy. I don't know. Imagine if I like checked and it was like not recording or like the voice wasn't working. Oh my god. Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking to you. Hopefully, we're doing a follow up and current astrology, but I understand if finances are tough. That's like the only time when people don't do the current astrology added. Let me know. LMK, pleasure is all mine. I hope you enjoy, and you'll have this reading forever. So make sure that, yeah, you save and bookmark whatever you gotta do. It's not that hard. It'll be, I don't think my YouTube is gonna get banned. All right.